All right, I'm here again. Want to talk about the 2013 NFL Draft. One of the most important positions in the draft. A lot of huge talent. Seems like every year it comes from this spot. Talking about the defensive end, outside linebacker, kind of hybrid guys that can play both DNs or outside linebackers in a 4-3. Going to touch a little bit on Jarvis Jones. Jarvis Jones, I think, is the best overall player in this draft. I think he's going to be the first defensive player off the board. The guy's just a pure playmaker at defense. He's one of those guys. I like to say, if you sat an average person down and watched the game, didn't know who he was, he would stand out to that average person who didn't watch football. That's who Jarvis Jones is. Another one's Jadeveon Clowney from South Carolina. Jones, I think, is going to be most well-suited as a 3-4 outside linebacker. But if he goes to a 4-3 team, I don't think he'll have a problem. It's going to be kind of like that of Von Miller. I know a lot of people thought Von Miller would get lost in that 4-3 because he was undersized. He only rushed the passer. But when you got athleticism like that, you're going to get coached up. And again, you're brought on to wreak havoc in the backfield. Very important position, that outside pressure. Now, the next three guys are those guys who play defensive end in college and are probably going to play either DN, 4-3, or 3-4 outside linebackers. Now, depending on where you look, these three guys range different spots from 1 to 3. My favorite guy is Bjorn Werner, followed by Demontre Moore, and then Barkevious Mingo. What sets Werner apart, not only is he a great pass rusher, you see with his multiple sack total, it's his ability to hold up against the run. Now, he's the biggest of the three, but he doesn't get blown off the line. He can take those blocks, hold his ground, make the play at the line of scrimmage, and he can also reestablish the line. I mean, he is powerful. He engages the blockers. He has good use of his hands. I mean, he creates separation with his arms so he can read the play as it's going on. He can shut off blocks easily because he keeps them away. Very smart, reminds me of J.J. Watt, the NFL comparison that speaks very highly. Just an overall smart player. I mean, if you watch it, he can diagnose plays. He knows what's going on. He rarely gets fooled, and he rushes under control. So when he takes that outside rush, a lot of times you see a guy lose containment. J.J. Watt is a very not J.J. Watt. Well, Werner is a very disciplined rusher. Good, like I said, just emphasize that use of hands, engagement, being able to shut off the block, get around the corner, and get after the quarterback. I think that's why he's number one. Now, the next two guys is, first one, Demontre Moore, a speed rushing specialist. I think right up there with Jarvis Jones as the best speed rusher, natural abilities. He's very versatile. He plays multiple spots along that line, right over the guard, between the guard and tackles. I think best on the outside, obviously. He drops back into coverage. He can play in space. A very versatile guy. He's got a nice spin move. Again, good field awareness. Gets his hands up when he knows he can't get to the quarterback when a pass is coming in his direction. He does a good job peeling off his blocks to make a play down the field or down the other side. One thing is he is a little bit smaller, so he does either get caved down on runs or he can get pushed out, kind of manhandled at times. But again, when you draft these guys, I think it is important to be able to hold up, but I mean, he's going to put on some weight. But when you have that pass rushing ability, that's the NFL team's primary concern when they're drafting you, is getting after the quarterback. It's so important to disrupt plays. And obviously the guy, you see how many tackles for loss he had. If there's a toss play going to his side, I mean, it's all but over. Screens, draws, the ability to get off the block, and make that play. He does a better job getting off block in space rather than in the trenches. But like I said, he's going to put on some weight, and that'll be a point of emphasis. But best fit at 3-4 outside linebacker. at that spot where he's just blitzing and making plays. Now the next guy, Mingo from LSU, Barkevius Mingo, stats didn't really live up to what this guy really can do. Ton of natural ability, probably maybe the most athletic of those guys. Very quick first step. The guy can, a lot of times, he's the first one off the ball before any other defenders, before the offensive line can react. Sometimes does over pursue on the outside, and then the quarterback just steps up into the pocket or shifts to the side he comes from. He is the smallest. I think he's only like 240 pounds. Doesn't have that frame to add on too much weight. So a 3-4 outside linebacker, again, probably where he's going to blossom the most. He does have the ability, when he does get engaged with the offensive line, again, because of that weight, he can get pushed around. But I have seen him with those quick feet and his quick hands be able to disengage, break off, and have the speed to lose ground while breaking off the block and still make it up, down the field. I've seen him make plays down the field where, the safeties or corners should have been making plays just because of that tremendous closing speed. I mean, teams are going to love his versatility. So those are my 4 pass rushers. Again, Jarvis Jones, kind of off on his own. I don't know about the first pick. I think Chiefs definitely need a quarterback. But, I mean, Jacksonville, if they want a playmaker, a difference maker, it's got to be Jarvis Jones. Bjorn Werner, again, sets himself apart because of his strength, his ability to hold up against the run. I love the use of his hands and his arms, like I talked about. Very smart. Demontre Moore, natural speed pass rusher, good awareness, tremendous playmaker in the backfield. And Mingo, again, they're all first-round picks. But let me know what you think. Obviously, I know there's going to be some disagreements. So there's my pass rushers.